Today we're going to look at parallel versus perpendicular lines. The target of this lesson is that you know what the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines have in common. So in class we're going to do an activity. If you want to try it, here is the URL for that. After the activity, we're going to summarize. So we're going to start with drawing two lines that are parallel. Two lines that are parallel never cross. Right here, so here's an example of two lines that are parallel. We could go the other way. These two lines are parallel. Parallel lines are two lines that never cross. Perpendicular lines are two lines that cross at a right angle. And from the activity, we learned that lines that are parallel have the same slope. So if the slope was negative 1/2, the slope would again be negative 1/2. Slopes, I'm going to move this down here. So again, lines that are parallel have the same slope. Lines that are perpendicular, so again, if I draw that, they're two lines that cross at a 90-degree angle. Lines that are perpendicular have slopes that are opposite and reciprocals. So I'm going to say one's flipped. So an example is, if this one slope is like 2/3, then the other slope, so one slope is positive, the other slope has to be negative, and you flip the fraction. So negative, and if we flip 2/3, we'll get negative 3/2. Okay, so again, lines that are parallel have the same slope. Lines that are perpendicular have slopes that are the opposite reciprocal. They're flipped and the opposite sign. So let's practice the types of problems you're going to see today. So like yesterday, you should be able to identify slope and y-intercept. The y-intercept is the number by itself when y is by itself on one side. So here the y-intercept is 8. The slope is negative 3. The slope is the number next to the x. Is the line y equals negative 3x plus 11.2 parallel or perpendicular? So does it have the same slope, or is it flipped and the opposite sign? So here the slope's negative 3, they match, so this line is parallel. Let's try the next one. The y-intercept, the number by itself is 2. The slope is 11. Is the line y equals negative 1/11? Here's the slope. Parallel or perpendicular? This would be perpendicular. One's positive, one's negative, and one is flipped. 11/1, 1/11. Let's try the next one. What would be the slope of a parallel line of this right here? Well, the slope is negative 3/5. And if it's perpendicular, you flip it. And if one's negative, you keep it positive. What would be the slope of this line? Now we have negative x/3, so the slope is negative 1/3. And if we flip it, it becomes positive 3/1. Okay, so parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines when you flip it and change the sign. All right, let's practice graphing these, and then that's it for today. So the first one, I'm going to do in purple here. The y-intercept's negative 4. So on your y-axis, find negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the slope is positive 2/3. It means you're going to go up 2 to the right 3. Up 2 to the right 3. And then we're going to make our line here. I can do better than that. Okay. Let's try again. That's better. All right, so there's our first line in purple. Let's do the other one. I'll do it in green. So this one, the y-intercept's 3. 1, 2, 3 up. Our slope is negative 3/2. So down 3/2. Down 3/2. And if I graph that line, you can see that they're perpendicular. They meet at a 90-degree angle because the slopes are flipped and one is the opposite sign, called the opposite reciprocal. Okay, let's try the next one. The first line, again, I'll do in purple. So we have 1/3 x. So start at 0 this time, so the y-intercept go, oops, that's not purple. We're going to go up 1 to the right 3, up 1 to the right 3, and we'll draw our line here. And the next one is negative 3. So again, we're going to start at 0, 0. And the slope's negative 3/1, so go down 3 to the right 1, down 3 to the right 1. And we can see that this line is perpendicular. two lines that are parallel have the same slope. So let's draw a parallel line to this one. Let's do y equals, I'll do it in red, y equals negative 3x plus 2. So this one we're going to start at 2, 1, 2, but our slope is negative 3. So we're going to go down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. And if I draw that line, we're going to see it's parallel to the green line, and they would never touch. So again, the main idea of this learning target is, can you identify the slope and the y-intercept of a line? And if they're parallel, if two lines are parallel, they have the same slope. If they're perpendicular, one of the slopes is flipped and the opposite sign.